Welcome back to Let's Play Deathmark. Now just looking at the back of the cover of three games here. Three games that I've been, playing. Obviously Deathmark, Digimon World Next Order, because Let's Play now on the main channel, and Digimon Story Absolute that I've been playing in my spare time. Trying to get the Platinum Trophy again, all the medals, and that's not even the last trophy that gets. Still got some more annoying trophies yet. But anyway, to the points. It's like they show why they've got an age rating on it, This game, Peggy 16, bad language. Cyber Sleuth, Peggy 12, bad language. Digimon World Next Order, Peggy 7, violence. You noticing an inconsistent thing here? I mean, Deathmark should, bad language. Violence. There's also, some sexual themes to it, so you'd think you'd put that there as well, but no, it's just got a bit of bad language, that's all. It's like, oh, there's not no CG randomly that pops up, or a woman in a kind of bondage situation with, some vines. No, it's just about the bad language. There is actually one CG, it's in the, final chapter, which is originally a DLC chapter in Japanese version, but ended up being part of the full version when it was localized. That had a CG that is censored. I mean, I saw it in Manly Badass Heroes Let's Play because he had it uncensored because of an update that's, censored it for whatever reason. And it's not, extremely, graphic or anything. But, I don't know, maybe it's the context, so they were like, let's censor that. You'll see what I mean when we eventually get to that. Anyways, there must be an article on what happened here in these files. We could use more help. Maybe Agent Suzu can give us a hand. Go ahead and call them over. It's been 2 minutes and I finally get into the plot. All four of us begin reading the files. Clippings range from the smallest dispute to the most heinous crime in H City. But they're all dated 5 years ago or earlier. Did you get stored in the garage because they're so old? After a while, I found it. The victim's name is Seiko. It's February, 5 years ago. Gotta be this. Seiko just sounds like a perfect name for a Japanese ghost, doesn't it? Chrissy lays the file out on the desk and we all begins. The file has articles about an incident that happened 5 years ago. The victim's name was Seiko Hasegawa. I assume that's an image of her. Why is her face all clouded like that? Just making her look creepy even in the newspaper article. The victim's name was Seiko Hasegawa. Apparently she committed suicide in Farnsby Heights Castle on the eve of her wedding. She was in her dress when she was found. Who's saying that? Maybe it's Eita. Suzu probably shouldn't read anymore. It's pretty bad. Yeah, it is. Thanks, Eita, but I want to know more about Hanayome. I feel like I need to do this. She's cringing, but she sounds determined. Between this and sneaking out at night, she's a surprisingly brave kid. It's rather odd for someone her age. Well, what about Sakasa then? I mean, you'd think he was even younger. I remember now. This happened back when I used to be a news anchor. Christy Mother's just loud enough to hear. Then do you know the whole story? It was horrible. It's hard to recount. A woman was abducted by a gang while she was walking her dog. They brought her to the forest and assaulted her. People found her battered and staggering along the road the next day. The dog was run over and killed near the forest when it chased after her. That's horrifying. Yeah, but that wasn't the end of Seiko Hasegawa's misfortune. Well, okay, reread that. Yeah, but that wasn't the end of Seiko Hasegawa's misfortune. Here's something cuts in. His usual grin is nowhere to be seen, nowhere to be found. It's well known in some circles, but her assault was photographed. Pictures were sent to her fiancé. They threatened to make them public if he didn't pay up. I had to give them a ton of money to get the photos of the necklace. Is that true, Christy? Yeah, I heard that as well. Because of all that, Miss Seiko had a mental breakdown. In the end, she hung herself. She'd been a serious, honest woman, so she just couldn't bear it. That's some messed up stuff. A cruel fate of a woman attacked before her wedding. We fall silent as that reality weighs us. She trembly speaks up, her face pale. Maybe there's a connection between what happened to Mrs. Hasegawa and Hanayome's phone boxes. According to the article, the instance that wrecked her life took place near each phone box. She was abducted by the park and assaulted by the restaurant. She was found wandering near the park and robbed by Eita. Phone booths connect Hanayome and Seiko Hasegawa. Winston sends a shiver down my spine. So that note we found by the telephone booth. Seiko's fiancé writes. Most likely. What's strange is it was there, and not where she committed suicide. Did Hanayome put it there? Maybe she was telling us something. I have no clue how threads think, but Susan's right, then that notes is an important clue for us. I seem to recall Miss Seiko's fiancé was a famous musician. As a result, the case was widely publicized at the time. It happened right after they returned from a romantic trip to Greece. Old ladies were sobbing about how it made it all the more tragic. The poor dog they brought on the trip died horribly as well. Where's the fiancé now? Well, he began acting strange due to the shock and then went missing. Some say her suicide was the follow-up. But he wasn't the only one who disappeared. Sounds like all the culprits went missing too. You hear about that online too? Well, something like that. The internet wasn't the same back then. There were only hubs. Hubs like pre-internet chat rooms. Everyone's talking about it on the occult hubs back then. There was one person in the community who knew way too much. I think he was one of the culprits. He brought up a bunch of things like take a picture and all that. And I bet those were pictures of the assaults. Yeah, that's right. After they were finished, those assholes got a camera out. Took pictures of her, face soaked in tears. All the time she yelled, "Don't look, don't look." Don't look, huh? Hanayome has an extreme reaction to being seen by others. He kept going on about it night after night, until he suddenly stopped posting. People who knew him said they couldn't contact him at all. Those guys deserve to die, but it's still really creepy, you know. Suddenly a line from the notes popped into my head. I'll dispel all of your heartache. I mean, he's a musician, he could use that as a lyric. Hey, Chris, do you happen to know exactly where in the forest Seiko killed herself? I was a reporter at the time, so I did go to the location. But that was 5 years ago, so I don't remember exactly. I feel like I went west from that big arch at the entrance. So you're really going to go? Yeah, we might be able to figure out something about Hanayome. Fine, I understand. I've had my fill of the forest, but I suppose we have no other leads. Gathering info. So you can probably tell where this is heading now, can't you? Let's talk to Mary. Tell Mary about Seiko Hasegawa. Her grudge against the world turned her into Hanayome. This is indeed the case. You may find a clue in the forest where she committed suicide. It's like you already know this information, you just wanted to talk to me, didn't you? Should I mean, Christy, you'll be able to find the location just fine, regardless of what character you take. Because, you know, she's already pointed out where it is. But it feels more natural to bring Christy along, so, you know. Thing is, right, there's going to be a point where we'll actually need to bring a different character with us. Because they're the only character who can get to a certain thing. You'll see in time. Hanayome is acting even more strangely than before. She seems anxious about being seen, or eyes in general. It's impossibly sure since it's only over the phone, but still not to be found outside the booth is disconcerting. Seiko, I'll dispel all of your heartache, so forget that horrible incident and take your quiet rest up in heaven. At an infinite dimension, the garage shells contain files on accidents and crimes we evade in Hate City. For decades old to just be years old. We'll search through them and find a case with the name Seiko Hasegawa. The person mentioned in the notes, the details of her case are sickening. At the assault of a woman in Hate City, the victim was abducted by a group as she was walking her dog in the forest while making her wedding day. She was found by a phone booth along the highway the next day. But that's not all. The culprits photographed the assault and blackmailed the fiancé with the photos for money. A few days later, all the stress caused her to kill herself. The fiancé went missing afterward, with people believing he also committed suicide. Christy investigated the case back then. She says the fiancé was a famous musician. Seiko, I'll dispel all of your heartache. Those words bother me, but there's something else too. That's the fact that the culprits also went missing after she died. This ghastly case is still unable to gain full closure. Phone box that guy lists of the case. The fact that the woman who hung herself wore a wedding dress. Connections to the forest by a H castle. The Hallmark bears won't like it, but we need to go back to the forest. But why am I so sure of that? This is more awkward than I thought, being out alone with someone who, until recently, was planning to kill herself. Do you have something you want to say? She noticed right away. Was I being that obvious? No, not really. It's fine, you don't have to hide it. You're wondering if I still want to kill myself, huh? Is this a woman's intuition? Or maybe I'm just crap at hiding things. Don't worry, I don't anymore. People hate it when things are forced on their eyes. Doesn't matter what it is. I can trust you, Max. Yes, at least for now. Here's hoping she keeps feeling the same, at least while we're together. Just then, the tires hit a bump in the road. I can see a square grey object in the back seat of the rear vehicle. Is that thing back there yours? No, that's a CD radio set. You know, I don't think I've ever actually, taken, the rides to the forest with Eita. So, it's just like, he'd probably be like, oh, here's my radio set, my player, for listens music. Like something like that. He said he might need music during the drive, and then went and put it in there himself. I don't have any CDs or tapes. Should I turn on the radio? No, I'll pass. Conversation grinds to a halt after that. It's like there's an invisible person for this. You just know it'd be, idol groups and anime songs. It's just like, do you have, any other songs that aren't idol groups or anime? It's like, no, man, these are the only songs that matter. Conversation grinds to a halt after that. It's like there's an invisible person for this. Maybe there is. Spooky. After falling silent a while, Christy finally speaks up again. It makes sense of the conversation to turn one direction. You know what? Just like adding to the mystery, they turn on the radio, and the most mysterious song on the internet starts to play. You know, it really bugs me that song does. This is a bit where it's like, and I've heard that melody line somewhere. I can't think what song it is. I mean, can't think of what song the actual song is. I mean, that's why it's called the most mysterious song on the internet. I like how that's just its given title. The other title being like the winds, because that's the opening lyric. At least how it sounds. I thought it said ride the wind, obviously, when I first heard it. But then again, there is a song called that, but it's by Poison. It's absolutely nothing like the mysterious song. I shouldn't be surprised if someone tapped out that silent dance. But then when I tried to play along to it, it didn't work. Because there must be some alternate tuning used on the record, because it sounds off playing any notes on my guitar. It probably has to be in different tuning. Maybe it's slightly out of tune, maybe they sped it up in the recording. I don't know. Some things happen when like people make songs that it just sounds fine, but when you try to play along to it, it sounds very off. But anyways, it's got nothing to do with this. It only makes sense for our conversation to turn one direction. It's rather worrisome, don't you think? After all this time, you don't know. Who doesn't know what? Those they think that spirit just helps you find things. What a naive fairy. Yeah. This Sue's exactly right. You quickly become disillusioned once you actually face it. I'm thinking about it. Wouldn't that be best? Lucy looks at me in shock. Wait, what are you saying? I just mean, our lives are on the line. Will you stop joking around? Sorry. She's furious at me. It looks like she was telling the truth about not wanting to die. She's got too much pride. Someone like that would never commit suicide. What's so funny? Nothing. Will we make it back again? I stare at the headlights and contemplate where we're going. I mean, yeah, we will make it back again. Because, even if I go for the bad end and get killed, we'd still have to go back to the mansion because we need to bring a certain other character here once we reach a certain point, because they're the only character who can get to a certain point. That sigh was pretty deep. I can't believe we're here again. At least I can feel better knowing he's not around anymore. I must remind her about Hanayome. I stopped myself from opening my mouth. It's like, there's probably other ghosts in the area as well. We just don't see them in the game. I don't want to break her tenuous calm. Okay, it's supposed to be west of the gates. I look to the west of the gate again, but there's no sign of a trail. Strange. Maybe... Wait, no. That's her line. Strange. Maybe I'm remembering wrong. When I came here researching an article, there was a path to the west. Suddenly, Chrissy's face stiffens. What's wrong? I feel cold all of a sudden. I follow their gaze and see a low shadow dashing out from the darkness. A dog? An Inu? That's the Japanese word for dog, isn't it? Inu? This is double checked by dictionary. I'm pretty sure that is dog. Yeah, Inu. Certainly seems like one that kicks up the dirt with 4 legs. But it looks off somehow. Its fur is long with the shells, and from certain angles its face looks human. The dog stares at us, growling softly. What is it? Are you trying to tell us something? You're being too gentle with us. You need to sound firm when you talk to a dog. Act like it's master. Wicked dogs like to bark, right? So no one can stay quiet. It's like I've been through the scene with both Chrissy and Suzu, and they kind of, basically give the same hints. I'm not sure if Eita would, but there's actually a point where I feel like you probably couldn't take Eita. I mean, you can probably, I assume, get him killed off as well. But there's points where you have to have a certain character. It's like, in the previous chapter where we couldn't get to the, eastern thicket because the ghost was along the path. We had to bring Chrissy along. I assume because of her spiritual power. Oh yeah, I didn't check that, did I? I gotta check that when I get back. you know, see what the stats are like on, you know, Suzu and Eita. So ignoring and stay quiet, huh? I guess that's true for him too. Alpha people tend to ignore others. Okay, I'll keep that in mind. Dog barks loudly and vanishes into the western underbrush. The moment it's gone, the chill in the air dissipates like it was never there. Was it trying to guide us? Maybe. I shine the flashlight on the spot where the dog disappeared. A now familiar pain shoots through my wrists. The mark's color grows more vivid. This chapter is shorter than other ones. A few hours left until the first unit. And I gotta say, the next chapter, though, chapter 4, is pretty interesting in like how it plays out. It's like there's quite a few live or die moments in that one. It's definitely longer than chapter 3. Chapter 3 feels pretty brief. Feels more like a kind of, you know, like an intermission of sorts. I don't know if I'm thinking the right thing here. It's like chapter 1 and chapter 2 reasonably length, then like right in the middle, because there's technically 5 chapters in the original. The final chapter, chapter 6, is, you know, was originally DLC exclusive for the Japanese version anyway. But you know, see it like that. This is basically the midpoint of the main story here. So I guess they're like, okay, let's have a shorter one in the middle. It's kind of weird because, you know, in the promotional arts, it's like on the case, for example, in the booklet, they've got Hanayome on it. So they've kind of used the ghosts of this chapter quite a bit in the marketing. But this chapter is not really all that long. Don't know much time left. We better hurry. Better stop rambling. Get on this. Let's check the bushes over there. Influence out of the spirit file. Still saying murder. We can't actually. Can we? Wait, what? Oh, never mind. It just. Wait. We were supposed to look to the west of the gates. This isn't the right way. Yeah, it's like we can't go back. Go back to the forest. I turned back. We've got to go down a different path. It did say we're going to see a new area. It's not really much because it's basically in the same area we were in the previous chapter. With the dog gone, I pushed my way into the underbrush. I spot the traces of what used to be a path. You could barely call it one at this point. Must be the closed hiking trail. Path goes west from the gates. That's right, I remember now. It's the path I took before. That dog is trying to show this to us. Who knows? Anyway, let's get going. So, it looks more or less the same. After the sea here. Some water paper. Pushed the grass aside and picked it up. Of course, it's a talisman. Soul power. I haven't really been going to many locations in this chapter, have we? Now this, let's actually see anything else before investigating the important thing here. Can't see it well from here. Feel around in the blades of grass. Instant camera. I've hit the switch before I realize, and a red light appears. Apparently that means that the flash can be used. I still have battery left. Not that we're going to take any pictures of it. Right. I turned it off and quickly stuffed it in my bag. So it's wise not to mention the dried blood that's left on the bottom of it. To see is to perceive light. That distant voice echoes in my head. True, seeing something means you're seeing the light reflecting. But what does that have to do with Hanayome? Yet more info. Well, let's, acknowledge the elephant in the room here. Shine the light on the grove of trees in front of us and catch a glimpse of something odd. Although it's not really a room, is it? And it's not an elephant. But, that's just a phrase. Huh? What is that? Something's posted there. I can't make it out from here. I move forward for a closer look. Ominous. What is this? All thoughts in my mind ceases. It's as if I'm unable to process what I'm seeing, and my brain comes to a halt. All these photos. There are a bunch of pictures of different people posted on the screen, but they're all these photos have nails in their eyes. It's just as Chris has said, for some bizarre reason, each photo has a person with nails driven through both eyes. Perhaps nails are some kind of tape. Cold sweat drips down my back. What kind of grudge would cause someone to do something like this? Well, I mean, think of everything that we've learned so far. Hey, all the people in these pictures, are they all men? Christie's mutters are just loud enough to hear. Yeah, I look over the photos again. A good number of them are deteriorated, so they're hard to make out. They may be right. Yeah, looks like it. All the subjects are men. That's clearly not a coincidence. And it's basically, it's like, well, we'll get to it when we get to that. I feel a little dizzy and step back. Through my blurry vision, something flashes in the light from the flashlight. What's wrong? Nothing, it's just over there. Something sparkled up there. Something might be there. We should check it out. The photos are of men. There's blood everywhere. Does it belong to the person who put the nails in? Grab the tape that's wrapped around one of the nails and take a good look at it. Looks like audio tape that's been pulled out of the set. So it's a good thing that, Eita shoved his cassette player, How convenient. Something up in the branches of the tree is reflecting lights. Something must be stuck in the branches. The only way we'll be able to check it out is to climb up the trunk. Are you thinking about climbing the tree? There aren't any cavities, knots, or branches where to reach. It'll be hard to climb up, so climb. I take a deep breath and jump at the tree. Started to reach for a while and managed to touch a branch until I crashed the ground with a spectacular thud. Ow. I told you. Well, how about you do it? I refuse. There's no way I can climb that. And there's no possible way Eita's climbing that. You can see where this is going and why I said you have to break a certain gap. Looks like there's not that's not going to work. Well, what if I give you a boost? This is just between us, but I weigh. She whispers in my ear. Okay, that's off the table. And Eita, he weighs considerably more. So now that'd be a hell of a twist. Christy weighs more than him. That would be absurd. So yeah, we gotta bring Susan. She's the only one who can, reach it. I mean, she can't reach it on her own. We always give her a boost. I give up and back away. And there's an area beyond this point as well where you can't have Eita with you. I don't think so, anyway. Where are we? It's a confusing angle here. So let's head back to the mansion. I mean, once you got past all the obstacles where it's like, okay, you're gonna have a certain character with you, you can just bring any character once you got past those. Let me just check that. Yeah, we already looked at that. She's got the spirit power. I mean, I'm not bringing you along with me, I'm just checking your stats. You're surprisingly weak, your intelligence is on par with the protagonist, you've got better dexterity, and ship spirit power. So your stats are shit, although your stats don't mean anything. Not as much power, not as much intelligence, a hell of a lot more spirit power than most of any character so far, I think. And not so much on dexterity. Upon our return to the forest, a strange dog appears. It growls at us before disappearing into the western thicket. Kristen says the place she checked in the past was in the west also. Still, that dog didn't look natural. I suppose that's a good sign, since we're chasing after spirits. The mark warns that time is short, that you have to hurry by taking trips back and forth to the mansion every other seconds. Well, not second, whatever. In the bushes below the tree, I find a dirty instant camera. The back reads, "Take a picture," flashing gleams. That voice then whispers to me again, "The sea is perceived light. Light, things that emit light, the camera, and Seiko Hasegawa detested that light." You know, this cryptic voice that keeps giving us hints is like, can you be a bit more specific, you know, instead of like being all like, you know, going all Silent Hill puzzle on us, can you just tell us what you mean, like, up front, rather than just being vague about it? It's like, no, that would spoil what's to come. So Mary about Seiko Hasegawa. What a sad woman. Her grudge against the world turned her into Hanayome. I think of how right as if this is really the case. May find a clue in the forest where she may be tried. Now piss off. To the forest. Wait. I forgot. Something up in the branches, trees like the lines. Someone must be stuck in the branches. The only way we'd be able to check it out is to climb up the trunk. We're going to climb the tree? There aren't any cavities, knots or whatever. Let's ask the impossible first. Hey, can you climb it? Suzu glances down at herself, up at the tree, and then looks at me. Yeah, I should probably do it myself. No, we should work together. Looks like that's not. Can you imagine if it did? She's just like, I've got like insanely good climbing skills, where like I can like constantly jump, leap, and keep leaping, so that it doesn't fall. You keep leaping. You can somehow manage to like just keep going up and up and up and up and up, even when there's nothing to grab on. That'd be insane. So like, what are you, some kind of frog? But I don't think even a frog could do that. If that's all then. Okay, I'll try. I squat at the base of the tree and I can climb on. Up you go. I stagger a bit but manage to stand. I feel like I'm one of the trees now. You've become one with nature. You reach. Just a little to the right. I'm almost there. Suzu reaches as far as she can with her hand and I'll both press the ground. Are you okay? Interruption? I'm fine. Here. Suzu shows me her hands. The only object that was stuck in the branches. A dog collar. Collar? Makes me think of that dog we saw before coming here. Does this belong to that dog? I wonder who threw it away. Who knows? As I'm putting it away in my bag, I spot an inscription on the inside of the collar. Enter. I mean, I'm not sure. Because that's a clue as to what you gotta do. At the same time, I'm not sure if that first letter is like maybe it's implying that it's, you know, kind of not properly, like maybe part of it's, you know, faded away, or if that is actually a letter, because, you know, it's maybe foreign name, so it's using foreign letters, foreign to even Japanese. How are you supposed to pronounce that? New info. By the way, that interruption was my niece opening the door. I hear a low growl from somewhere. I can't see what's making it, but it seems to be watching me. Oh, we did see that dog at the gates. I'm not sure why, but I feel an intense hostility directed toward me. What should we do? The instant Susu speaks. The growling grows distinctly quieter. Now that's an this is the thing that I mentioned. I've never actually taken Eita to this point, but I wonder. Because, you know, you saw that it was all, and how it distinctly pointed out, they're all male. So, if you went with Eita, perhaps the dog would be, like, hostile. To the point where it's like, you shall not pass. Growling goes distinctly quieter. I remember the photos. All of them were men with nails in their eyes. I don't know what that has to do with the dog, but if those pictures demonstrate the hatred that saturates the place, I mean, come on, put one and two together, man. It's obvious what the implications are here. If I'm with Suzu, it might react differently. And the same would be said with Christian. If you brought Eita, I assume the dog would basically be like... I mean, I'm not sure if it'd lead to a game over, but you certainly probably wouldn't be able to pass this point with Eita. I've never tried, though, but I assume that would be the case. I consider my options. And that's why we need that collar as well. I've got an idea. Take the collar out of my bag. Maybe. It's a safe bet that the spirit was born here, so the dog is likely tied to this collar. I face the general area the barking is coming from and show it the collar. The dog appears like a gust of wind. Whoa! Though I can blink, it steals the collar from me. My collar, bitch. Live or die. When I try to quickly jump away, I hear Susan pull out. Mr. Yashiki, don't move. And I don't catch the rest of it. Christy more or less gives you the same hints as usually does here. Basically tell you not to move and stuff. The dog rushes at me so fast it looks like it's gliding over the ground. What do? You don't kick it or dodge, you just stand still. Be firm! Show you're not intimidated. The dog stops in its tracks. It seems confused that I'm not reacting and standing still. It shuffles back on its guard, then prepares to attack again. Now in real life, if there was, you know, a hostile dog charge, now you wouldn't really be wise to just stand there. I don't know. I mean, maybe if you're like, I don't know how I would deal with a hostile dog attacking you. Now read that. So it's back on its guard, then press it again. There's the teeth and growls. What do? Don't pet it, it's a bad idea. It's like, I'm not interested in you, you know? The whole thing's like, people who see themselves important, you know, they ignore others, so it's ignoring you. I pick my gaze and turn my back to it. And it's not very threatening. This sounds like a terrible idea, really, doesn't it? Never turn your back to an enemy. It growls for a while until it abruptly stops. You're going up against, well, I mean, maybe you get attacked if you did that sort of dog in real life. Now, if it was a person, that'd be a terrible idea. The dog holds the collar in its mouth and stares at me. The collar has an inscription on it. I'm sure it said. Yeah, that's the thing, right? It's something enter. But what is the first letter? What should I call it? It's a G. It's Genta. Genta. It's a Genta. I don't know. What's his name? The dog perks its ears. I say it again. This time more clearly. And see. The dog turns around and quietly slinks into the brush. Disappears from sight. I mean, that's not being around the bush at this point. That's clearly the dog that's belonging to Hanayome. And they said they maybe got the dog in Greece, or maybe he had a Greek name. I'm not sure if that letter was like a Greek letter or something. I don't know. I'm not really familiar with the Greek language. So say now, where is it? I've got a book somewhere on like ancient Greek and all that. Because I was like, years ago I was curious. I was like, you know, scientific words tend to borrow from like Latin and ancient Greek and stuff like that. So I was like kind of curious to learn a bit of language. But that's not really modern, is it? Although maybe it hasn't changed all that much, I don't know. Seems like somehow managed to escape death. Survived. Pick up the collar that was left behind inside your teeth. Are you okay? Yeah, that was. I can't even say it was no big deal. My wits simply trail off. That's all I can answer. Pat myself down with my hands, but I don't seem to be injured anywhere. I did feel teeth biting into my hand when the collar was snatched from me, though. But get checked for rabies, man. Ghost rabies. Man, rabies is bloody terrifying. It was just like watching a video on it like the other day, and it's just like, I mean, how horrifying is that? If you get infected with it, you're basically screwed, because, you know, by the time the symptoms show up and you realize you got them, you're basically dead. There's no way you're gonna survive it. You're gonna get it before the symptoms show. It's crazy, man. I don't like mention the case of like someone who like went to Brazil, got bit by a stray dog, and then 8 years later the symptoms finally started to show as it reached the brain, and it died. It's like, Jesus Christ, that is absolutely horrifying. I did feel about that. Yeah, that dog may be supernatural. I hope it doesn't attack again. I think we'll be fine. It found what it was looking for. You're right. And that is the point where I think you could probably just go back and, you know, bring Eita along if you wanted to. Well, you're going for the bad end or the good end. It's just like, Eita, you will see Hanayome. Because, you know, we gotta face the spirit at the end of the chapter. Oh. A sound like a rope creaks above my head. Silhouette swing in the shadow of the trees. My whole body shudders with dread. Are those people? Susan gives a terrified yelp. Speechless, I shine my flashlight on them. They clearly aren't people. They're mannequins. Horror cliches. They're in every horror game. Well, not really. They're in a lot of horror games now. Things hanging by their necks from the trees. I mean, hell, even, like, I see Clock Tower on the Super Nintendo as one of, you know, the older kind of... I mean, you had much older games than that horror games. You see that as, like, in a survival horror kind of thing. But even that game, you know, back in 1995 or whatever it was. You know, I mean, I don't think it got, like, officially released outside Japan, but I played it, obviously, the first, one of the first Let's Plays I did on my main channel that I started making Let's Plays. And there's a part in that game that has mannequins, and the bloody scissor man pops out of the mannequins sometimes, and it's like, god damn, why is there always mannequins? Things hanging by their necks from the trees are display mannequins you can find in any department store. Obviously, dolls can't commit suicide. Is this someone's idea of a prank, or maybe a warning to intruders? The only one who knows the truth would be whoever did this. Let's go, I don't think they're dangerous. They're only mannequins. Okay, if you say so. She replies uneasily. But yeah, they're pretty harmless here. Before either of us take a step forward, I feel a shaky hand gripping onto me. It has something in its left hand. Grabbing onto it, I stop it from swaying. The hand and take what's inside. Why are you holding the talismans? The talismans are everywhere. And again, it does surprise me that there's no trophy linked to these. You'd think there would be. It's like collect all the talismans and that'd be like the hardest one. That'd be the one that has the lowest percentage of, players obtaining the trophy. Swing something immediately from the ropes. A male doll is hanging from a tree. I wonder what the person who did this was thinking. Is that all? And we reached the end of this area. It's that dog. Suzu, be careful. Oh, it's okay now. I don't want to attack anymore. It's that dog from before. Starts digging in the dirt right in front of us. After a few moments, it disappears like a mist. What was it doing? Is there something over there? Let's take a look. Let's take a look at everything but the dirt. Just to see if there's anything else. But no, there isn't, because this is a really short chapter. On closer inspection, the dirt there appears to be a different color. I mean, we haven't even really picked up many items in this chapter. I reach out and touch the dirt, but the texture under my hand surprises me. The dirt around here is soft, as if something was buried. Give me a hand. You're going to dig here. I don't think we'll need any tools. Please. Okay. We don't need tools in this chapter. You just do everything by hand. Sometimes we kneel in this forest in the middle of the night and dig up the dirt with our hands. Feel like I'm robbing a grave. Could be that those words popped into my head because I somehow knew what we'd find. Distractions. I look down on what we dug up. What we find is a corpse. It's just a skeleton now, but it doesn't look that old. Is that a corpse? Yeah. The reply sounds incredibly flat and uncaring. Indeed. At some point, death has become familiar. That fact and not the corpse is what sent the ship down my spine. I'm too comfortable with the world of the dead. I know this, but I can't escape it. One part of me observes that remains before us and reacts calmly. Just then I notice something. What's that? There's something white in the skeleton's hand. I dig it out and discover it's a plastic bag. Inside are a number of cassette tapes and some kind of notes. The notes deteriorated, but parts of it are left. I killed them all once. Assault you. Now you. Rest in peace. What needed to be done, now I die. This forest, you passed away. New song, want, listen, heaven. Note ends there. Got 3 cassette tapes. That sounds like a suicide note, doesn't it? But these tapes. She looks at the cassette tapes. Why would they bury 2? They look at the remains as if asking them a question. Of course, it's not going to reply. I don't know. I trail off. Different voices whispering in my mind. The last. Again, you're being very vague. The voice falls silent. The last. Wait a second. The last what? Is something the matter? I didn't say anything. It's nothing. Sorry, just talking myself. Anyway, let's take these signals. New info is added to spirit file. You know what? It's gonna be a real bitch, isn't it? But you know what? Gonna leave you a cliffhanger. Just like, how will this chapter conclude? You'll have to find in the next part. We get the, good ending and the bad ending in one part. Because you know we're already 50 minutes in here. I know. I these interrupted by opening the door, it's just like, because, I just want to advance the plot, so, since we're, done with the video, I might as well just mention this moment that amused me a couple of days ago. It's just like, she picked up the sandpaper for the birds, and she's always like, hi birdie, and stuff like that. Well, hi bird, or whatever the hell, Kind of makes me think it's just like, well, she sounded like Tommy was always like, oh, hi birdie. And just picked up the sandpaper and I had a picture of a Fudgy on it, a giant picture. And her just face just lit up and she's like, birdie, it's the birdie. And I just found that hilarious. So, that'll do for this part, and it's because I shall see you next time, viewers. See you next time.